This is Global Signals by Andrew Dremin. Deep dives and insights about retail and FMCG.
Right, and today we are looking at a massive shift happening in 2026.
Yeah, exactly. The mission for today's deep dive is to understand why the old way of buying goods is just, well, it's dead.
It is completely dead. The entire retail supply chain is changing.
And we're going to look at the raw numbers to see exactly why. Let's start with the scale of this.
The scale is honestly hard to comprehend until you see the data.
Right. So China has a trade surplus of $1 trillion with the rest of the world.
1 trillion, just a massive, massive number.
It gets even crazier when you look at the country-level data. China is actually the top import source for 100 different countries.
100 countries, that is just staggering.
I mean, to really show how big that is, look at the alternatives. The U.S. is the top import source for only 33 countries.
Right, a huge drop-off.
Yeah, and Germany is the top source for just 20 countries.
So you have 100 countries relying heavily on one single place. And this is the old model. For the past 30 years, the formula was very, very simple.
You basically just find the lowest unit cost in China, you sign the order, and you ship it.
That was it. Retailers and fast-moving consumer goods companies, they treated this as a permanent bargain.
A permanent bargain to protect their profit margins.
Right. They thought it would just last forever.
Okay, let's unpack this. We had this old model, and it was essentially putting all of a company's eggs in one very cheap basket.
Yes, that is a perfect way to describe it.
So we need to explain why that basket is now breaking. Why is everyone leaving it behind?
Because the data shows a massive shift, a really sudden one.
Yeah, we have the first major data point here. 77% of supply chain leaders are reducing their single country reliance.
77%, that is a huge majority.
They are shifting their sourcing away from China. They are moving toward tariff-neutral countries.
And that makes sense for Western companies. But here is a really surprising fact from the data.
Right, the 60% figure.
Yes. Nearly 60% of Chinese supply chain executives are doing the exact same thing. They are also diversifying.
Wait, they're moving away from their own base?
Yeah. They are building their own factories in Southeast Asia, in Mexico, and in Eastern Europe.
Wow.
They want to lower their own tariff risks and, they want to stay close to the end customers.
Okay, but if both the Western buyers and the original Chinese manufacturers are moving in the exact same direction?
Then the old single-source production model is officially broken.
Yeah, but I want to push back on this a little bit. Traditional trade logic says you just make things where they are cheapest.
Right. That is the textbook theory.
So why is that traditional logic failing so badly in the real world right now?
Because standard textbook theory assumes everything is stable. But the old math fails in actual operations today. There are 3 specific reasons for this.
Okay, let's go through the 3 reasons. What is the first one?
The first reason is geopolitical concentration risk.
Geopolitical risk.
Right. Free trade needs stable shipping routes. But when one state controls the baseline manufacturing for 100 nations, trade becomes highly vulnerable.
Vulnerable to political friction.
Exactly. Any political issue can disrupt the flow of goods for half the planet.
And that leads into the second reason, the hidden total cost of ownership, or TCO.
Yes. The factory quote is not the final price.
Right. I want to point out that a low unit price simply does not equal a low total cost.
Not at all.
Because shipping across the ocean ties up your working capital. Your money is stuck on a boat for 30 to 45 days.
Your cash is just floating there. And when you include shipping delays or, sudden freight rate spikes, the true cost rises.
Plus the tariffs.
Right. Plus tariffs. The cheap price on paper completely disappears in the real world.
Which brings us to the third reason the old math fails.
The single point of failure. The SPOS.
The SPOF, yeah.
If a port or a factory in one region shuts down, your entire supply chain stops completely.
It is like a traffic jam on a single lane bridge.
That is exactly what it is like.
You have this one bridge. If it closes, you cannot just replace 100% of your stock on short notice. You are just stuck.
You are stuck and you have nothing to sell to your customers.
So the old math fails. Companies realize this, and they are building a completely new model.
Yes. We are seeing a massive shift from unit cost sourcing to resilient sourcing.
Let's compare those 2 goals.
Well, the old goal was simple. You wanted the lowest landed unit price.
And the new goal.
The new goal is high supply security and speed.
Security and speed. And to get that, you have to change your physical layout.
Right.
You move away from a single region. You build a layered, multi-region network.
And the speed difference is incredible. In the old model, your delivery lead time was 30 to 60 days.
Right. Because of the ocean transit.
But now, using nearshore and onshore options, that lead time drops down to just 7 to 21 days.
7 to 21 days. That is a massive difference.
It is. And what's fascinating here is how this faster delivery actually frees up working capital.
So,
Well, if your goods arrive in 10 days instead of 60 days, you don't need a massive inventory buffer in your warehouse.
oh, right. You don't have to hoard stock just in case a boat is late.
Exactly. You hold less inventory, which means you free up your working capital.
You can use that cash for other parts of the business.
Yes.
But I have to ask, how does a massive retail or FMCG company actually build this layered network in real life?
It sounds chaotic, right?
It sounds totally chaotic. Doing this without causing a huge mess seems impossible.
Well, they use a very specific framework. It is a 3-tier layered sourcing framework.
Okay, let's break down the 3 tiers.
This framework balances cost and security perfectly. Tier 1 is your base volume. We call this offshore.
Base volume. Offshore, how much of the product goes there?
This handles 50 to 60% of your total volume.
So the majority of your goods.
Yes. It is used for standard products, items with very predictable demand and long shelf lives.
Where do these factories stay?
These stay in primary Asian hubs.
Okay, so you don't move these.
No, you keep them there to maintain economies of scale. You still need that baseline cost efficiency for your standard items.
Okay, so that is tier 1. 50 to 60%. What is tier 2?
Tier 2 is your flexible capacity. We call this nearshore.
Nearshore. And this handles roughly 25 to 35% of the volume.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is for different kinds of items. This is for seasonal items, sudden demand spikes, and quick restocks.
Right. You need to react quickly. So these factories are located in tariff-neutral regions that are close to your markets.
Let's look at the locations for tier 2.
If your market is North America, your tier 2 is in Mexico.
Right.
If you are selling in Europe, your tier 2 is in Turkey or Poland. And for the Asia-Pacific market, you use Vietnam.
And the goal here is speed. The turnaround time is incredibly fast.
Very fast. We are talking 1 to 2 weeks.
Wow, okay. So tier 1 is your base. Tier 2 is your flexible capacity. That leaves tier 3.
Right. Tier 3 is the rapid buffer. We call this onshore.
Onshore.
This handles the final 10 to 15% of your total volume.
And this is for the real emergencies, right?
Yes. Emergency restocks, high margin items, and also small batches for market testing.
And these use local domestic producers.
Right. In your own country. The objective here is 0 international transit lag and absolutely 0 border friction.
No customs, no boats, just put it on a truck.
Exactly.
You know, this 3-tier system, it really reminds me of a personal finance strategy.
Oh, yeah. How so?
Well, think about it. Tier 1 is your long-term savings account. It holds the most volume, it is steady, and you don't touch it quickly.
That is a great way to look at it.
Right. In Tier 2, that is like your checking account. You use it for seasonal spending, everyday flex needs.
Right. It is highly accessible.
And then Tier 3, that is literally your emergency cash hidden under the mattress. You grab it the second something goes wrong.
Yes. And you need all 3 to be secure.
Okay, so understanding these tiers is great. But leaders listening to this need to know exactly what steps to take next.
They need a plan. And the data outlines a strict 4-step action plan for supply chain leaders.
Let's walk through the 4 rules. What is step 1?
Step 1 is to map your single country dependencies.
Map the dependencies.
You have to identify every single product that relies on one country for more than 60% of its volume.
60% is the danger zone.
Yes. If a single country supplies 60% of an item, you have a major risk. You must map that out first.
Okay, what is step 2?
Step 2 is to calculate true TCO, the total cost of ownership.
Right, we talked about this. You have to stop looking only at the factory quotes.
You have to factor in the working capital we discussed. You add in the ocean freight spikes. You add the tariffs.
And you also have to factor in the cost of lost sales.
Exactly. When items are out of stock because a ship is delayed, you lose money. You have to calculate that cost.
That brings us to step 3.
Step 3 is to qualify secondary suppliers early.
Okay, I have to point out a key fact from the source here.
Yeah.
It takes 6 to 9 months to onboard a new factory in places like Mexico, Vietnam, or Eastern Europe.
It does. It is a long process.
So setting this up early, is it more expensive?
Yes, I can confirm that. It requires higher initial setup costs, and it means your average unit prices will be slightly higher.
But it is a necessary trade-off.
It is a trade-off because running out of inventory costs far, far more over time.
Right.
You pay a little more now to guarantee you actually have products to sell later.
Which makes step 4 so important.
Yeah.
What is the final step?
Step 4 is to set internal limits.
Internal limits on sourcing.
Yes. You must create a hard corporate rule that no single country can supply more than 50% of your critical inventory.
No exceptions.
No exceptions. You cap it at 50%. This forces the company to maintain that layered network.
Okay, so to summarize all of this,
Supply chain management in 2026 is no longer about finding the cheapest factory.
that era is over.
It is entirely about keeping goods moving when trade routes break. Resiliency over cheap unit costs.
And I want to leave you with a final thought on that. We talked about the timeline.
The 6 to 9 months.
Right. If it takes 6 to 9 months to onboard a new supplier and a company waits until a major global disruption happens to start looking, how much revenue will they lose to out-of-stock items before that new factory finally opens?
A catastrophic amount.
You're listening to Global Signals by Andrew Dremin. Deep dives and insights about retail and FMCG.